Life is so far away, but we'll make it one day. Every night that I pray, I just lay there and say, what up, you know what's up, it's Don the 7. Today guys, we are doing the long awaited walk through my past part 2. Originally I was gonna try and find someone to hold the camera while I drive through the few schools, the few places and everything else that I've been at where I was either in times of need or throughout my past in parts that are rather important to me. We're gonna finally do this. I've had a couple of people asking me when it's gonna be coming out. I am recording it finally today. It's November 4th. The election is still going on right now in the States. I'm like, you know what? While we're waiting for the long-awaited news, let's just get this done. I'm gonna be starting off today. I think we ended off last time in like grade 7. When I was in grade 7 at the school that we showed in the last video, I started my writing career already. I had started writing a little bit of poetry. I wasn't very good at it, but that was something that we kind of started. Just a quick note in between here, all this stuff that I'm gonna be saying is gonna be mostly relevant to what made me who I am, and like along with the music and stuff like that. I'll be doing a little bit of driving today, so there may not be as many clips in between. I don't know how this is all gonna turn out, but I'll make it as seamless as possible. I'm so glad to have you guys along for the ride. All right, so this part's a little more difficult to film because these guys are just getting out of school right now. But right after that last school, this is where I went. This is Maple Ridge Secondary. This is my catchment high school. I went to 3 different high schools throughout my high school life, I guess. And you know, this was the first one. I went here from grades 8 through part of 10. I have a lot of good memories here. I'm just gonna try and find a spot to pull over. So MRSS is where I went through grade 8 to part of grade 10. Now when I say part of grade 10, it's not exactly what you mean. I actually did a cross enrollment at both MRSS and Pitt Meadows Secondary. I was in a hockey academy at Pitt Meadows. I didn't want to transfer there full time. I had a lot of friends at MRSS that I really wanted to hold on to, really wanted to keep. Yeah, so that was part of MRSS. There was a lot of bad memories there that I'm not gonna talk about as well. I'm gonna try and stay on a positive note. We're gonna try and swap things up. I'm not gonna try and talk about the negatives as much. I went through a lot of life experiences there that a lot of people, even in their 30s and 40s, never had to deal with. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know, there was some things that nobody should really have to deal with or grow up with. I got followed home, and I'm not gonna talk on it. I'm not gonna touch on it. I'm trying to stay away from the negatives. I'm just gonna keep on going. Let's catch you all when we go to Pitt Meadows, which is the school in which I technically graduated from. So I actually did even forget to mention the fact that at MRSS was when I started to own my poetry skills. I almost got one of my poems put in the yearbook in my grade 10 year. 8 and 9 is when I was actually more of a metalhead. I used to love bands like Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens, Slipknot, those kinds of guys. I really started to pursue in my poetry when I was in grade 10. And that was when I started using it as more of a therapy and less of just a hobby. I used it to express myself. Anyways, I forgot to mention that when I was at MRSS. I'm just stopping for my daily routine here to get some Timmies, and then we'll be on our way to our next stop. I believe I have about 4 or 5 stops on this list that I wanted to hit. This will be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. This is one that I'm gonna be able to go a little more in depth at. Now we're at the next school that I went to here. This is Pitt Meadows Secondary, the second oldest school, MRSS, the first one being the oldest. I went here for the hockey academy program. The rink is just down behind it pretty much. Grew up playing on that rink, and then it was part of my curriculum for school. It was actually rather fun. I learned a lot there with a lot of good people. Austin, I don't know if he's been in any of the videos, but I met Austin there. Again, met a couple of Maple Ridge rappers as well, or Pitt Meadows, I guess at this stage, rappers. So this is the school I went to through the other parts of grade 10, grade 11, and I had one class here in grade 12 because I wanted to graduate with my friends from here, but I also was taking a trades program, which I will get to. But I also got my first high school jobs while I was going to this school, and I went to gyms and all that kind of stuff. I was loving hockey. It was a good experience while I was here. There was a lot of times that I'm not going to talk about here as well. We're going to stay on the positive note. They also recently had a COVID-19 case, so that was an interesting one to read up about. I think I'm just going to start showing you guys my works now. Or my jobs, I guess. Whilst I was in grade 10 and part of 11, I was working here at this Langley Farmers Market. I didn't want to park out front because there's a lot of people there right now. Throughout parts of grade 10 and grade 11. And after that, I went and worked at the Canadian Tire in Maple Ridge, which I'll get a quick shot of right about here. Boom, right there. I worked at this Canadian Tire through most of my grade 11 and parts of my grade 12. As I said, in grade 12, I graduated from Pitt Meadows Secondary, but I was also attending a BCIT course and a partnership program that Maple Ridge has with some of the post-secondary schools in BC. I will be taking you guys there now, and we'll be showing you the last school, and then we'll take you back home. So this one was a little bit quicker. There wasn't as much for me to talk about. It was just walking you through where I've been hopefully one day I'll think about it. We'll do a where I want to go, where I want to live, that kind of stuff. So finally, we reached the last school. This is the one where I was in partnership with BCIT, and I did metal fabrication, got my foundations and level 1 done here. Samuel Robertson Technical holds a lot of them. So there's actually the hair program right here, and right where that fence is back there is where the metal fab program was hosted, and then off to the right a little more, you can't quite see it, there was the carpentry program there as well. There was a lot of programs that were held at this school. Honestly, it was a great way for kids who were in grade 12 who wanted to get a trade to get the step ahead of the game and all this kind of stuff. I highly recommend it to anybody who knows what they want to do, like I thought I did. Get a step ahead and try and pursue things. And while I was working here, the professor that was from BCIT who was teaching here helped me get a job from his buddy who works at one of the sawmills. It was where I was working for a little while. I'm not gonna show there, I don't think. It was called Stella Jones, and they do a lot of like the telephone poles and all this kind of stuff. I had to work on the loaders, I had to work on the peelers, all this kind of machines. A lot of times it was rather dangerous. It was a really good experience. It was a good thing for me to get through in high school, so that way I could come out of high school with a little bit of experience in trade. That was what I did in my last year of high school. When I was in grade 12, especially here, and at Pitt Meadow Secondary was where I finally started to pick up a lot of my music taste. I had a lot of friends at that point who were saying that I should take my poems and put music over top of them. This was where I started to do a lot of that. We had a little bit of classroom time every once in a while, or if we had a sub and we couldn't go into the shop for the day, I would finish the paperwork early so I could just work on my music or anything else like that. I'd take a lot of advantage of the time that I had in between classes and everything else like that to write. It was a night school, so I used to get out at like 10 o'clock or whatever. It was an interesting program. It was a lot to take on, especially when my heart was always in the music. You know, I finished it, I completed everything, graduated. That was the second part of walk through my past. I'll catch you guys all back at my house. All right, we are back at home, guys. I am hoping that this audio comes out nice and clear because as I'm sure you can see, it's not exactly a very nice day outside today. Just a little quick update. At the time of recording this, November 4th, we are 33 subscribers away from our goal for December 31st. We can do this. Keep sharing, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep commenting, all these things. I am really looking forward to the future with you guys in YouTube, in music, and everything else. I love what I'm doing. The energy that I have from you guys are super supportive. You guys are what keeps me going. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for this kind of stuff, I'd probably just be a couch potato. So I appreciate everything that you guys do for me. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment to what you thought, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.